The Tennessee Vols are currently on a four-game winning streak, basically spearheaded by the play of Nate Ament. Others have obviously been big in that as well. They go to Kentucky this week and then the road ahead. I want to talk all three of those things as we move forward in this season. We're getting closer to March Madness and when it really counts. Hit that like, hit that share, hit that subscribe. Appreciate all your support. If you want to check out, contribute, help out the channel as well, $1 a month Patreon. There are the memberships in the description as well. Let's get to it, though. Tennessee comes off of, a game where at times, especially the first half, sometimes it's not, to me, it's not really how pretty you win. Sometimes first half there were some rough moments Tuesday night, but the team led, and then when they took over in the second half, they pulled away with it. And, we can sit and say it all day long. An ugly win is better than a pretty loss, and there's no such thing as a pretty loss any day of the week on it. I'll take it. We move forward. Tennessee's back in the top 25, and then, it's a big one this Saturday night. I think especially after what happened the last time Tennessee and Kentucky played, if Tennessee could go up to Rupp Saturday night, the crowd's going to be into it big time in that game. They always are. What can Tennessee go up there and do? But things I liked about Tuesday night, and yeah, I'm a couple days delayed talking about it. It is what it is. Obviously, I love what Nate Ament is doing. And, it was the questions. Was the hype too much? Was he overrated? Blah, blah. No, I think that one's getting answered. Now, how does he finish down the stretch? That's going to be big. But Rick Barnes talked about it in one of his interviews. May have been right after the game the other night. He talked about what has changed. And I've made mention on here numerous times. That Florida game is when we noticed that difference. And he keeps getting better and better since that. Rick Barnes said that he had a talk with him before the game. Said he told him he's putting too much pressure on himself. Said, go out and play your game. Said, you're doing good. But he said, just go out and play and relax. And we've noticed that difference. And again, I go back to that Florida game. And I said, if there's anything positive come out of this, it's the fact that Nate Ament, hopefully that is what catapults him moving forward. And it certainly has at that point. So now he's over, 21 points per game over the last 7 games. And you saw it the other night, especially when he had 26 points in the second half. He wanted to take it over. He looked relaxed. He took over. He's not the biggest dude in terms of body weight and stuff. He can get in there and play physical, though. Make no mistake about it. And I think that's been a big thing as he's gotten more physical moving forward. He's getting to the foul line. He's getting to the basket. A game like let me pull up. Which one was it? It was the Auburn game. Yeah, the Auburn game where the shots weren't necessarily falling like 4 for 16, but he was getting to the free throw line. He was making a difference in that game, and that's big. And I'll tell you something I thought was big the other night as well. Now, obviously in that game, so Nate Ament went for 28. Jacoby Gillespie went for 20. What I like more than anything with Gillespie, only 1 turnover in that game because it's normally multiple. Now, the 1 turnover, if I'm recalling correctly, was pretty rough, but you look at it, it was 26-25 at the half. Not a beautifully played first half. And then Tennessee goes for 58 in the second half. That's crazy. That is a big-time second half that they put up. But Gillespie had 20, which was big for him. Boswell had 10, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals. Did have the 3 turnovers I'd like to see, but down. But still, really good stat line, good game for him. J.P. Estrella, 12 and 9 on the night, 1 assist, 1 steal, no turnovers for him. He's getting more and more. I mean, because you look at the minutes distribution, Ament 33, Estrella 35, Gillespie 34, Boswell 33. Those guys are going to play. And no word yet on when we're going to get Felix Okpara back. It's a calf injury. I would think it could happen this weekend. Maybe not. It depends. But Jalen Carey, 16 minutes. Amari Evans, 17. You saw Troy Henderson get 8 minutes. Dwayne Brown, 22 minutes. Dwayne Brown has been starting in place of Akpara. And I continue to say it, what we're getting out of this freshman class, especially if Ament, he was brought in to be really the main guy, he and Gillespie. But what Dwayne Brown's contributing, what Amari Evans is contributing as well. Those guys are, it may not always show on the stat line in terms of points and things, but these guys are big parts of this team right now. And then Troy Henderson, I think when he's healthy, he played 8 minutes the other night. I think you'll see him get more run as well. That's probably going to be – it's kind of like Boswell last year. Boswell would get some minutes occasionally, but not a lot. I think that's where we're at with Henderson. But what I like about Henderson, he's not afraid to come in and shoot. He will come in and shoot it. And I like that as well. Now we get into Kentucky. We know that, in the 4 games since Mark Pope's been there, Kentucky's 3-1 against Tennessee. Tennessee got the one that mattered last year in the NCAA tournament. So what was different in that game versus the other 3? And I think this one's pretty obvious on it. And I want to pull up, because I've got the history of looking at the last 4 meetings on it, going back to most recent to Pope's first game. 80-78, January 17th this year. Tough one. Tennessee led the entire way till the final minute, and the way they lost that game was just absolutely brutal. It was absolutely brutal. Tennessee's 4-6 in their last 10 against Kentucky, against 1-3 with them. Well, what was different? Let me kind of compare. So in that game, January 17th, Kentucky, they shot 47.5 from field goal, right at 46% from three-point range on it. Kentucky, 29 rebounds, Tennessee 36. A consistent thing I've seen is Tennessee's winning the rebounding battle on it. What's happened? Kentucky's shooting the lights out against them. That's the bottom line. What's causing that? Well, a lot of it, too, is for some reason, it's Kentucky's drive and kick, I feel like. That's the difference in a lot of these. And I go back to last year's second meeting against Kentucky. I'll get to the NCAA tournament in a minute. In Rupp Arena last year, Tennessee shot 42.6% from field goal, 16.7% from three-point range in that game. And the funny thing is Igor Milicic hit all 3 of them. Not a single other person hit a 3 in that game. Chaz Lanier was 0 for 7. Jordan Gainey 0 for 4. Zakai Ziegler 0 for 2. Kentucky, on the other hand, 50% from field goal range, 50% from three-point range on it. That's a major difference. And then the first meeting back January 28th when they played, I think we're going to see a similar story here. Kentucky from the field, 50%. Kentucky from three-point range, 50%. Tennessee in that game, 34.7 from field goal range, 24.4 from three-point range in that game. And Tennessee was 11 out of 45 in that game. That's way too many three-pointers. Well, what was different in Indianapolis? Well, if I pull that up and look at it here, Kentucky did shoot 49% from field goal. They shot 40% from three-point, but only 6 of 15 with it. Tennessee in that game, 51%, but 26.3 from three-point. But Tennessee on the rebounds on it, 34-24. They were dominant on that one. Offensive rebounds in that game. Tennessee doubled Kentucky, 14-7. So just the fact of being more efficient in that game, they did force Kentucky into more turnovers. But the fact, it doesn't sound like much, but if you go from 50% threes to 40%, and especially you going from them hitting double digits to not, that's a pretty big difference. The main thing, and this is not, and you think about it, I would put that team as probably one of Barnes' better defensive teams. You had some guys that could play some defense on that team, and Kentucky still lit them up in games. This team this year, I don't think they're anywhere close defensively to where last year's team is. But they've got to be disciplined on the drives with it. It seems like each time it's happening, what I've noticed, you'll get the dude top of the key driving, somebody on the wing leaves to come double. That leaves a dude wide open out there, and Kentucky's making them pay with it. They've done it each meeting. And in Indianapolis in the Sweet 16 last year, it wasn't as bad. I mean, Kentucky, again, they only hit 6 in that game. Tennessee's got to be disciplined. They've got to, whether it's Estrella, I mean, we don't know if Akpara's playing. If Akpara's in, he's got to shift over. Estrella, Brown, whomever, Jalen Carey, one of those guys, they've got to hold the middle with it. And, I know in some of those games, too, there were some of those shots where you just tip your cap to them, that they just hit them. And but there's others, it felt like, especially Knoxville, that second half, way too many open shots were happening. And, again, a contested shot's one thing. Uncontested, you know that drove Rick Barnes nuts in that game. But, I said it before, I'll say it again. You don't ever want to lose, but sometimes a loss like the Kentucky game back on January 17th, a blessing in disguise. And this team's played really good basketball since, with 2 good road wins at Alabama, at Georgia. They handled Auburn and Ole Miss pretty thoroughly at home as well. The road looking forward now. Tennessee's in the top 25 now. Can they go get – I feel like this is a big win for their resume coming this Saturday night, because there's not really many resume builders left on the schedule. Looking at the schedule now, you got at Mississippi State next week, and then you got LSU coming to Knoxville on Valentine's Day. Oklahoma, February 18th at home. Your only ranked teams on the schedule right now is Vanderbilt, and they play them February 21st in Nashville. They conclude the season March 7th in Knoxville. Other than that, you've got Missouri, at Missouri, Alabama at home February 28th, South Carolina at South Carolina March 3rd. Alabama's obviously one of those that could, I think they're probably on the brink of being ranked. They put together a few wins. They're back in. The rest of it beyond that, you really don't have any resume building, and it's not a great year for the SEC either. It's just not right now. I mean, looking at the top 25, the only SEC teams that I'm seeing in here is the highest ranked, according to right now, Vanderbilt. This is going last week. I got confused on something. Vanderbilt 15, Florida at 17, Arkansas at 21, and then Tennessee at 25. Not a banner year there in terms of the rankings for them. And, something else to keep in mind, Tennessee is only 1 game off of being tied for first in the conference. So, Tennessee has a shot with this schedule. I feel it's a very favorable schedule that they could win this conference. It's still out there to do. And we'll see how they close. We'll see if they could get some resume wins. I don't know if this is a year where maybe it'd be nice to win the conference tournament and kind of boost your resume or not. But a lot of it with Tennessee, I really feel, will come down to matchups. And we've seen they can play physical basketball. We've seen that. A team like Illinois obviously gave them trouble. A team that can – a quicker – good shooting team can give this team problems. But, I mean, they've beaten Houston. They've beaten some good teams. They drilled Louisville. So, does it come down to matchups? We'll see. I mean, I think it always does. I don't think they want to get paired with, say, Florida, for example, if the SEC gets so many teams in that somebody's paired with one another in a round of 32 or Sweet 16. But other than that, there could be some favorable matchups out there. There could be some that could give them trouble too. But this team, again, they have a shot at the SEC championship, and they have a shot if they will go up and play disciplined defense this week. Kentucky's going to hit some shots. They will. They always do against them. But, man, if they could limit it a bit, keep doing what they're doing on the glass, I think this team will have a shot to go up and win Saturday night. We'll wrap up on that one. This is Frank. This is the House of Orange. You guys have a great one, and I'll see you when I see you.